ourselves to be involved. But I want to give you some very specific ideas I think we need to talk about and why we need to talk about them. And please bear with us because this is really critical. First of all, this is not the culmination of something. This is the beginning of something. This is the beginning of something great. And it's the beginning of a great movement. You are no longer a citizen who lives in a house that you either rent or own or are struggling to rent or own. You are now part of a great movement. And that movement is going to go out all across this country. And what we want to demand is more accountability, but what we want to make sure we demand is that there is prosperity. Prosperity for the people. And we're definitely concerned that that can't happen if the Congress is able to pass the budgets that they're talking about right now. Now let's say that the folks who propose all these things want to do good things for the people. We won't disagree with that. But let's talk about what's going to specifically happen. How do you create jobs in this country? Do you raise the business tax to 45%? The highest tax in the world now, they want to add 5 percentage points more to business taxes in this country. Folks, the godless Chinese communists have a 25% tax. 25% tax. So now what happens when you raise business taxes to 45% as it's being approached? They offshore jobs, folks. They spend their money overseas. That doesn't help America. That doesn't put America back to work. We have to tell our Congress to make sure that we oppose those types of policies. What happens, my friends, when those who invest in the economy invest in job creation, invest in wealth creation? What happens when their capital gains tax goes up by another 5 percentage points? Well, here's what happens. They don't sell their current stocks. They don't reinvest. So they can't bring new jobs and new opportunities to people. The other thing they can't do is provide better health care benefits, provide better pension benefits, give you a raise. None of those things happen when the wealth creators have wealth confiscated from them and plowed back into government spending. Two really critical issues that many people aren't talking about. Now let's talk about the fact that there was not supposed to be a tax on anyone, 95% of Americans. 25% of Americans who smoke cigarettes just saw the biggest tax hike ever. The last I checked, they were not the wealthiest 1% of the population. And what did that tax hike go for? Interestingly enough, children's health insurance, we're all for the children. But do you know that if you're 28 years old, you're classified under as a child? 28 years old! I want my money! I'm 43, I want my freebies too, come on! And what else is happening with these trillion-dollar deficits with respect to reckless spending by both political parties? What's going to happen to there? The Saudis are buying up our debt. The Chinese are buying up our debt. Do you think we're going to get fair trade when it comes to working with China if they own a third of our debt? Are we going to be able to get rid of oil dependency from Saudi Arabia if they own our debt? We're giving away the future of our economy as well as our economic future. These are critical issues. So now, young sons of liberty, we're not meeting at the Green Dragon in Boston, but we are here in Cleveland, Ohio. And what can we do about that? As I think Ralph King and some of the great speakers we've had before said, flood your congressional representatives' offices with yourselves. Take yourselves to your congressional representative. Let them know there's huge things at stake. These are massive issues. Let's talk about the tax on manufacturing. Everyone wants to see more manufacturing jobs in America. We get frustrated that we don't see things made in America. They call it cap and trade, folks. It's a tax on you. It's a tax on the poorest Americans. It's a tax on the working class. It's a tax on the middle class. And it's a tax on the wealthy. And here's how they do it. You know who came up with cap and trade? Well, Al Gore has something to do with it. But those greasers on Wall Street that are so evil, it's another opportunity for them to make money. They did such a terrific job with the housing market that now we want to give them another market opportunity. Let's say no. Let's say no to taxes on our consumption. Did you like $4 gas? $6 gas and cap and trade? comes to reality. Nancy Pelosi says instead of that, maybe we'll just have a strict carbon tax. That means when you heat your house, when you air condition your home, when you drive to work, if you ever take any mode of transportation ever, if you buy any goods such as food, which is manufactured here and made here, then you're paying a massive increase in costs. Tell them no. No, we don't want to do this. We want to clean our environment, but we have to make sure there's a global solution to that, not just American suckers throwing away their future when we see all these other cheaters over there who are doing such bad things to us. Go to your congressional offices, folks. Go to your congressional offices and let them know that, you know, we understand that they're making legislation for us. They just need to hear the people, because the people they're hearing now are the government-sponsored ACORN group that your tax dollar goes to. They're hearing other folks that are takers, all the people that are takers of the system, but who's paying the freight? You are! And you got to do something about it. You got to do something about it. This isn't knee-jerk. This is an intelligent debate. And let's change the debate that's going on in Washington. We all want change, but we have to make sure that the change doesn't rob us of our economic future, rob us of our opportunity for our sovereignty, and rob poor people the opportunity to become wealthy, and middle-class people the opportunity to be wealthy, and working-class people to become wealthy, because that is what's going to happen if this budget passes. I just want to conclude by saying this. We talked a little bit about the revolution, and we talked a little bit about how we all got here today. Thousands of Americans strong standing up in Cleveland, Ohio, and you're part of millions that are standing up all across the country. You are a movement. You cannot be ignored if you stay united. You cannot be ignored if you raise your voices high. You cannot be ignored if you politely and respectfully work with our elected officials to make real change happen, but you got to do it now. Your sovereignty is being given away and sold to foreign entities. Your jobs are being sold overseas. Your future is being given away. You're intolerant. Be intolerant about it. Do something now. I am so proud to stand with you. Let's make history this year and change the country.
Now, here's a real fighter. This is Sandra O'Brien, former auditor for Ashtabula County. Sandy actually successfully stood up against higher taxes. She did something about it. She got people motivated, and she got the tax defeated.